Great, my golden glow is gone. It's because it's no longer the morning.
I'm definitely recording in the morning from now on. Anyway,
I'm just trying to make this real quick for Ethan.
so this video is directly made for Ethan if he ever wants to see this video and learn like
Why miasma may be beneficial for a weaker team more than it would be for a team that could steamroll the content, right? The stronger your team, the less benefit you get because of how that idea was thrown around. It was very confusing on whether that was true or not.
Well, I went ahead, I did some tests. We tested with Lucy. In the footage, you can see I did a run against Miasma, normal disc sets and all, and I went ahead and I prioritized using Lucy. I did not do the special parry this time around because I wanted to use the other mechanics around Miasma in order to figure this out. Max just went live. I was really only doing this for the in-between between me and Max. But anyways, as you can see in the test, for the first Miasma run, it was about 20 seconds, I believe. 2 parries and 2 dodge counters from Lucy. But we're really just clocking how long does Miasma take. Based on the fact that my team has a certain amount of disc and draw and W engines, they're at a certain scale of power level. So it took about 20 seconds. I took off all the discs from my Lucy as well as her engine as well as my Jane. I took off all the discs and engines for them. And I went ahead and I ran it again. It obviously took me way longer to reach the miasma phase this time around, but how long did it take? I did not use the special technique. I think both the Jane things are a little bit the same, but I didn't do a dodge counter on the second time around. Also, his parry move showed up quicker on the second time around. So when he finally comes down from doing his aerial, he has technically more miasma bar than the other side, but that also means he was in the air less long. So I'm really just clocking the time. That's just so you know the differences in between the start points of engaging with the miasma. So we engage with the miasma, we do similar stuff to where we're just focusing on parries and we're actually hyper focusing Lucy. You can already see from her parry to her parry attack, it does exactly the same amount of damage. And she has no disc. She has no weapon. She is completely naked. Not that kind of naked, but you get the idea. So, what was the full clear time on the miasma? It was 24 seconds this time around. I believe I engaged with the miasma a little bit worse the second time around, right? Because we ended up parrying with Bernice. To be honest, Bernice's parry, her parry counter attack doesn't really do as much as Lucy's parry counter attack, which is why I was focusing on Lucy to begin with in the first place. This is just something I found out. You don't need to know that going into a miasma fight. And I actually did the runs with no disc a few times. And I actually ended up on one of the clears getting about 19 seconds. Showcase I even got a faster time, right? So it truly is a case of the speed at which you take down miasma is sometimes directly tied to your ultimate resources too, but also how well you play against it in terms of dodge counters and parries and exploiting its mechanics. It's just that you're not penalized for being weaker. You still get the same rate of miasma depletion.
So Lucy,
Without this, without engines, clearly does similar, if not the same exact damage. What does that mean? That means the miasma damage is typically fixed, or it's based off impact, which I have not technically tested. You saw Max just came back online. I'm gonna go watch Evo. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna test this with lighter and stuff. It takes too much time for right now. But either way, from this you can gain the idea. If there's no impact character in mind, the impact's gonna be the same anyways. So in hindsight, a weaker team, a team without any disc or any engine, does the same amount of miasma damage as a team with all that extra scale and power. That means the weaker team technically benefits from miasma more than a stronger team does because they have no negative impact for being weaker. But that's all. It's not in any way like a benefit for weaker teams. It's just not a negative. It doesn't proportionally scale based on your power. It's a fixed amount of damage that you do based on the attacks you use. So that's all it is. for the most part. I mean, you know the intricacies of miasma. Beyond that, when you pop miasma, you get a good chunk of impact on the days bar. You also know that you get energy. When you pop miasma, everybody gets a large portion of energy. Not technically full energy, I believe it's around 80%. And when you pop miasma, the enemy gets a large chunk of their health removed. A proportion of their health, I believe it's 15%. You get the idea. Therefore, everybody is reaching this 15% damage, this extra energy, and this extra days at the same rate. So that's the case. This video was just to show that information, put it out there so that it's known and kind of easy to understand. Hopefully this was an easy, digestible way of going about it. And truly, this video is just for Ethan, really. So I can just throw it out there. Other than that, sorry for anyone who didn't really care about this topic. I understand it's just basic, high-level play nonsense. Truly, the depth of ZZZ gets pretty deep. I'm like 6 feet deep, people. It goes at least 3 levels deeper than the understandings that I understand. And higher level, ZZZ can get pretty deep because there's a lot more to like understanding the gimmicks surrounding the games and how to use them and exploit them for your own benefit, depending on what kind of player you are. All right, see ya.